What's up everyone, welcome back. I'm going to give you my follow-up on this rod right here. This is the GLX 841S. It's a new g.loomis version of the GLX. We all know GLX, but this is a new one. It's a great rod, I'll tell you about it. Thanks everyone for watching, and if you followed my videos, you know I do a lot of kind of unboxing, unveiling videos, and then down the line I do a review after I fished it. Well, it's been 4 months and I've been fishing the GLX 841S spinning rod, the new version of the GLX, and it is an awesome rod. And since I made that video, I've had several people message me. I had 2 guys message me on Facebook and Instagram separately. They were asking about this rod and how it does compared to the Shimano X-Bride solid tip rod. You know, it's completely different rods, but they're similar in a way. You know, they're both kind of premium rods and they're really good for shaking a minnow. That's really the hot thing right now. Everyone's looking for the latest and greatest. And the X-Bride that I've done a review of, it's a solid tip rod. This GLX is not. But the 841, that's a 7-foot medium light, has been really good for shaking a minnow. It's a little bit different action. It's not quite as fast as the solid tip X-Bride. They rate it as a fast, so you know it's a little bit, bends a little bit further down, so it's still really good for shaking a minnow. But I really like this. I've actually done most of my work with this with the drop shot. You know, I've always used a medium light for a drop shot when I'm nose hooking baits and smaller baits, you know, like a 4.5 inch robo and light and smaller. You know, anything open hooked, I like that medium light, especially when smallmouth are involved. But I've been using this more as a drop shot rod than I have for shaking a minnow, but it will do that. I do think the X-Bride, the solid tip, the 610 medium or medium heavy would be a better option for shaking than this medium light, just because they're a little bit stouter. You know, we're talking still really finesse rods, but they have a little more backbone. So I do think that those are better rods for shaking a minnow, but you can do it with this rod. You know, if you want to just get one spinning rod that can do a lot of different things, you know, lightweight stuff, you know, like I said, the drop shot, you could throw a spy bait on this rod, you could throw a hair jig on this rod, you can throw a lot of different things on this particular rod. Now, kind of getting back to the rod, you know, I mean, everyone knows g.loomis, you know, they're really well known for their quality. I like that they still have cork on there. You know, it's kind of gone away from a lot of different rods. I mean, the X-Bride has cork on it too, but, you know, a lot of the rods out there have EVA, which is great for certain techniques, in my opinion, but I really like that cork. And since it's g.loomis, it is a very good quality cork. Now, I have this paired up with a 3000 size reel. You can see it balances pretty decent right there. Maybe I'd hold it about right there. It's, you know, probably meant for a 2500, but it does just fine with a 3000. This is the X-Sense from Shimano. Really still a very light combo even with a 3000 size reel. The other thing I liked about it was the guide. These are the Fuji SIC tangle free. You know, you didn't have any issues with, you know, your light braid wrapping around it. You know, all these good premium rods have really figured that out, so you really minimize that annoyance of that limp braid wrapping around there. So I didn't have any issues with that at all. It's a really lightweight rod. You know, there's a lot of small things that I liked about it, like where this hook keeper is, it's out of the way, even though it's above the spool, which I really typically hate. A lot of them have, you know, these big exposed, you know, keepers right up here and your line will get on there. But the way this is set up, it's far enough in, it just didn't have that issue, which was pretty cool, you know, because that is really a pain. And, you know, you could have them down here, you know, a lot of them do, but I really don't like it down there if I can get away with it. But I think they figured this out with this little clip right here. Again, it's out of the way. It's really almost impossible to get your line into that right there compared to some of them that are out there. So I really like the small details, you know, the CI4 handle, super light. I mean, the whole thing is really just incredibly light and balanced, refined. It's an awesome rod. I mean, I really do like this rod. It is actually the most expensive rod I own. It's 550 bucks. So that is one downside to it. Now, if you're looking for a premium rod and you're really a g.loomis fan, I'd say go for it. But honestly, you know, it's not a huge difference between the X-Bride and this. You know, I like, this is definitely a better rod, but if you had the option of getting almost 2 X-Brides, I'd probably say to do that. But if you're a Loomis fan, die hard, you like the GLX, like the name, this is a very, very good rod. I mean, it is a high price tag, obviously, but like with everything with Loomis, they are really quality, they're balanced, everything is dialed in perfectly. I've owned several Loomises over the years, tons of them, you know, IMX, GL2, GL3, GLX, I mean, all these different models, and I've never had one that was just totally wrong. I mean, as far as the feel and the action, everything, they are refined, dialed in. They are awesome rods. And again, this is a good minnow shaking rod, but in my opinion, it's just more of a do-it-all finesse spinning rod. That's kind of how I've used it. That's how I'm going to continue to use it. It's good for just about anything you want to use. That I'd say about a 1/4 ounce or less. It's perfect for it. I mean, I think the rating is right in that range. It's a 1/16 to a 5/16. So a 1/4 is kind of on the higher end of what they rate it as, but obviously you can go lighter, you know, 3/16 ounce drop shots, all those things. Again, I really, really like this rod. It's a very well-built rod with the price tag to match, unfortunately. But if you're a Loomis fan, again, I can't say that enough. You know the quality. This is a great rod to carry the GLX name forward. It's always been a standard. You know, I know they have the NRX and they have the Conquest and all that, but the GLX is a name that, as long as I've been fishing, for over 20 years, has been the gold standard, and I think this one lives up to that. So really did like fishing this, and I'm gonna continue fishing it, doing a lot of different things with this GLX 841S, the SJR, the spinning jig and worm rod.